So welcome at this workshop. We have been busy in a project with the food bank, and the workshop now is about empowering nonprofits. So we want to explore with you some strategies, data-driven strategies, to see if we can come up with some cool ideas and see if you can actually help us help the food bank. So we're part of an organization, Kickstart AI, and for us it's really important to really accelerate the adoption of AI. It was mentioned a lot on the main stage now. We really want to go a lot wider and find people, help people that don't have access to AI necessarily. So this is not only, large organizations, but also this large non-profit or charity organizations that don't have, huge data science teams. So we really want to make it more accessible to everyone. And we're going steady and strong with that. Please have a look at our website to know more. We don't have a lot of time, so I'm just going to quickly go through these slides, the introduction to our workshop. So, like I said, positive power of AI for society. I think everyone agrees with that. And probably that's why you're here. We really want to accelerate AI adoption and make it accessible to everyone. So now we've, since recently actually been working together with the Food Bank, Voedselbank Nederland, which is a national organization that help people with low income usually, and that can't afford, groceries. They can't afford to buy everything that they need every week. So they do an amazing job giving food packages to people that need, families, children that need these products, right? To hopefully not be hungry. So some current challenges that we are working on and we are thinking about together with the food bank is, what is the expected need, right? What do you need in the next year? What do you need in 5 years? So that they can also give this information to their donors, to their large partners like the Albert Heijn. How many people will seek help? How can we find the people even, right? How can we find the people that need help? Not everyone is receiving the help when they actually should, or they're applicable to finding that help. But even like what products should we provide them, right? We want them to have a healthy, balanced intake of food. So what do we need, right? And what could possibly be received from surrounding, like the local providers, the local donors, but also large, like I mentioned, Albert Heijn. We have been looking at predicting poverty, so that can actually help answer just a few of these questions that we just walked through. But also, we're working on an AI assistant. So this AI assistant will help lower the barrier that when they go to the website of the food bank, that they can actually ask for help in their own language, and more directly ask, the things that they're on their mind. So they don't have to look through the entire website. They can get more direct information. I think this is an excellent use for Gen AI, right? But for today, we actually came up with a few goals. Optimize food distribution. I think these are all in the case of the food bank. Predict demand and fluctuations, and identify potential donors or partners. So we would really like to discuss with you, what are your ideas? Right? Can you come up with innovative, creative ideas that we could actually start using? So what we're going to do, we're going to group you in 3 groups. It's a good thing that it's not super busy. We were worried because then you get actual, time to give your input and everyone gets to say something. You will be grouped in these 3 groups. Food distribution with Omendra as our AI specialist. Demand fluctuations with Carmen, our data scientist, and identifying partners with Kevin, our challenge lead. And like I said, the board members of the food bank will then, after your discussions, give you their actual input on like, hey, is this something that we could actually use? Is this something that is necessary? And then it would make you think, can this actually be used by other non-profits or charities? Yeah. So this is the workshop, the groups. We have the groups here. What I would like is to give you some ideas on 2 questions that we have. If you look at, because we have very short amount of time, so what would a headline be of your group discussion? If you come up with something, what would that headline be of your final idea, right? To keep it brief and powerful. And how do we measure that social impact? How would we measure it? So this is hopefully open enough for you to get your own ideas going, but also closed enough to give you a little bit more structure. Yeah, please go to your group. So I am going to ask the facilitators to come on stage and briefly, in a couple minutes, just tell us what you all came up with. If you want, 2 minutes. Yeah, if you want, please feel free. Please. I would like to welcome, who's ready? Yeah? Perfect. We'll just tape that, or you can hold it also if you want. Thank you. Yeah. Yes. The tape. Sorry. I can hold it, it's fine.
Okay, great. Yeah, we dove into the topic of identifying new potential donors or partnerships for the food bank in the Netherlands. And actually, after asking a couple of questions, we quickly came to the conclusion that at this moment, the food bank doesn't have something like a data bank for potential customers yet. So that's actually, the very, very start of it. So our suggestion is, our headline is chewing on data, and our suggestion is to create a data bank with potential donors for the Dutch food bank. And this data bank can actually, for the first time, be made pretty easily, probably with just querying the Kamer van Koophandel, and just query on restaurants, supermarkets, and also, for example, I don't know what they're called, but the kruidvats of our country, and put them in, call them, reach out to them, and maybe that leads to new supplies for the food bank, which results in all types of nice things. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Who's up next?
3 more points than the other one, but we'll go. Yeah. So for our group, we wanted to optimize food distribution using AI and data science so that we can help food bank. Yeah. So the strategy we came up was, as you can see, very well designed step-by-step plan. Is going to work 100%. So what we want to do first is that we want to digitalize data so that we have more data in terms of supply and demand. specifically so that we can categorize them using volunteers, and we want to also make it easy for volunteers to actually participate in categorizing this data, because we want to make sure that we can also address people's food preferences, specifically when it's particular social backgrounds or allergies or just in general some nutritional preferences. And once we have that, we want to use AI to create a very optimal strategy to reach as many people by solving things like route optimization, opening multiple centers, and also making sure that they can also sign up somewhere. Because I do think that we thought that if there was a platform which makes it an easier access for people who are willing to take advantage or participate in it, so it's not about just getting food but also being part of the community, so that we can also make it while also saving people's data and anonymizing it, but also just getting data to participate in community events, so that it's not just about getting food, but also participating and helping other people. And using that, we can come up with a great strategy to reach as many people as we can and feed them as much as we can.
Thank you. Thank you, so interesting.
Hello, everybody. So we were the group number 2, and we were discussing about how to get good demand predictions, or good predictions for food demand. So our headline is how AI helps reducing food waste and covering demand of food in the Netherlands. And we were discussing which kind of data or which kind of information would be helpful in order to have that good demand forecast. And we came up with different sets of information that is really good to know that is open source, at least in the Netherlands. For instance, the weather. Depending on the weather, maybe people might eat more potatoes or more meat because it's very nice weather, who knows. But also we were concerned about the allergies of the food bank clients. Also the background, maybe some of the clients, they have some periods of time where they have a specific diet. And we were thinking that, okay, let's assume that we build a system that can make really good predictions of food demand. So how can the food bank make use of it? So we were thinking about a system that, okay, would provide the top 10 more important type of foods per region, so that each distribution of the food bank can make use of it, so that depending on that information, then they can give that food into the local food banks in different regions. So yeah, basically that was the idea. And of course, if that system gives good predictions, then the food waste would be reduced. And of course, food bank clients would be very satisfied because their dietary desires would be fulfilled.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I like great how you're using open data. I would like to give the stage to Rob and Letty. I'm so happy that they're here to give you. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm so happy that you're here to give some input and some feedback on what you think of their ideas.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, let's start with it. It's all good ideas. I don't know the numbers. We have 13,000 volunteers. We need to help them in doing the job, and we can get access to them to verify things or motivate them or whatever. We can use AI for that. The same goes with our clients. But the fun part is, because it's so big, we basically need a community to get that moving, understanding what's the added value, where does it fit into where we are, because we have 172 food banks, and in total they cover more than 500 distribution points. we've got 10 RDCs, and we cannot cover from the country level all what's happening. The strength is basically in the people, even with Corona. Half the people went home because of their age, and the rest of the family came back in making sure in getting the food in the basket. So community, that's also one of the reasons why we're working with Kickstart, has the power, and that this demonstrates that, to get AI involved in a part of the community which can help understanding where they can be helped, but even understand in the complexity of where we are now, what it means for them and then moving forward. Because we want to help them, but we provide what's called emergency food. They've got a problem, but we want to help them getting out of that stage as well. So every idea in getting a system in, getting volunteers involved, getting clients informed, getting identified where they are, because we know that from the 1 million underneath the poverty line, there are 400 who immediately qualify for what we provide as a service. We provide food. Of those 400,000, we only are helping now 130,000. 80? 180. I'm already lost in the numbers. Even bigger part, but it's still not the 400 who qualify. We want to find them. We want to match that on the food. We've got declining food because of all the initiatives. But at the same time, we know that from a production perspective, we can provide enough. The structure of the food banks, because of the setup, is that we find food everywhere. We find it on a country level, on a regional basis, on a municipality basis. Because we cover 99% of all the municipalities in the Netherlands. Understanding that, getting the data, getting it analyzed, giving the feedback, that's for a large part getting the people involved, giving them comfort in what we are doing instead of this is scary, and then we can start providing also the information to our donors, because we've got food donors, we've got financial donors, we've got services donors, we've got all kinds of donors, and they want to understand and also feel proud for what they are paying forward of bringing back to the community. And that's what you have been, from my perspective, been proving that can work. And that's the interaction, from my perspective, what we are looking for. So basically, everything helps. But getting it activated and getting it energized to bring it forward into what we are trying, what we are already doing for a long time. And ideally, everything, AI could help to make us obsolete. That would be perfect.
I also like the idea of the platform clients. We now have 180,000 clients every week. With the predictions of AI, we see that there are 400,000 this moment who need food every week. So, and the top 10 of what sort of food, there's also something we can help, what can help us. So we take it with us and we shall look for it with Kickstart.
Sorry, if you want to
Yeah.
go for it.
Yes, part of the idea was that volunteers also donate phones. I mean, everyone has like multiple phones that they don't need, so that these 400 people, each one of them, can have access to the platform and get
That are the clients and the volunteers. We have 14,000 volunteers this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the platform only adds value if people can access it, right? And whatever data is digitalized and made sense out of it, it only can create value if it actually solves the problem of the people. So access is really key, that every one of the people we need can see, okay, that's what I can get.
Absolutely.
And it can be, the only thing that is really must do is digitalize the data. The AI can categorize it, the AI can generate optimal scenario, the AI can cluster it per type group, per type food, per expiry date, and can do it for a few minutes, right?
Sounds good.
So you can do it for free for a few minutes, only if the data is digitalized. So the volunteers, if they can digitalize it, the AI can do the rest.
Okay.
And the platform then provides the information
I
and the
understand.
access.
Yeah, thank you.
And the AI can also do the dashboards for the sponsors and the partners.
It's a new line.
That's good to know. But we've got systems, but they are, now, let's say, legacy. So we've got only partial pictures, but getting the additional information you need to do that.
So actually, that's such a good question. So, you know, the ChatGPT, the OpenAI solution, it has 3 components. The first one is the generative pre-trained transformer model, the large language model that makes sense of the language. And the second component is the code interpreter, which is the software pieces like Python and et cetera, et cetera. This is the part that does data analytics, data visualization, file format conversion, running codes, and etc. So if you only use the chat version, you won't be able to do that. With both, you can do that. And the third component is the APIs. And the APIs, what they do, they connect the code with different systems. So you have legacy system, it can get the information from your legacy systems, but it also can get real-time information and has plugins and etc. That's the API.
Okay.
Now, if you have only one solution, only the chat, it's just language, right? You can use it for very creative tasks, but it's really the code interpreter plus the API, the holistic solution that can actually solve your problem on very low costs in very quick time. But the must-have is the data is digitalized.
Yeah.
And the volunteers can do that. Right?
I'll explain a bit more after this meeting. Otherwise,
Volunteer.
time is already up.
I volunteer.
That's great. That's so great. Thank you so much for your input. Does anyone have any other questions or something to? Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it's very well known in the Netherlands that the Voedselbank provides for food, but I hear you say that you also provide aid in getting out of the need to have dependency on the Voedselbank.
Yeah.
Can you tell a bit more about that? Because I didn't know about that.
It's basically even, I don't know if it's European law, but if you get subsidized, and some subsidies come from Europe via the Dutch government to the Voedselbanken, then they require, in Holland they talk about social return on a municipality level, but then they require that you also develop or invest in applications who help people getting out of it, basically better understanding first where they are and what they could do to get out of it. An example of that is what's called the financiële planner. And then every data people can consolidate on the phone with their own identification from all sources. And then you get advices about how you can, on the financial part, the support part.
We help them to come out of their problems. Yeah.
Do we have any other questions or remarks?
Okay.
Anything from you?
Sorry?
No?
Oh, no, we're fine.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Please give them a round of applause. Again, we're so happy that they could join us. And of course, thank you for joining our workshop. I think the most important thing is that we want you to feel engaged, to also help other charities, other nonprofits. Please spread the word and do something yourself. But you can also follow us and our progress on our websites and our socials. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you.